Nakatakdang dumating mamayang hapon si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa Cotabato City upang dumalo sa kampanya para sa ratifikasyon ng Bangsamoro Organic Law. At mula sa Cotabato City, nasa telepono si Nel Maribuhok para sa detalye ng balita. Go ahead, Nel. Anong balita dyan?
Yes, Flor, unti-unti na nga dumarating dito sa Office of the Regional Governor Compound dito sa Cotabato City ang iba't ibang grupo at individual na dadalo dito sa Peace Assembly kaugnay nga dito sa ratifikasyon ng Bangsamoro Organic Law. Inaasahang pangungunahan ito ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Mahigpit na rin ang seguridad na ipinatutupad dito sa lugar kung saan may 2 tangke na nakaharang dito sa main road papasok ng venue kung saan idaraos ang peace rally. Ang pagdalo ng Pangulo dito sa Peace Assembly ay isang araw bago ang pagtatapos ng campaign period para sa ratifikasyon ng BOL. Sa January 21 at February 6, magaganap ang plebisito para sa BOL ratification. Flor?
Maraming salamat sa iyo, Nel Maribuhok, nagulat mula sa Cotabato City.
Tuloy-tuloy ang pagsasagawa ng refresher seminar ng Philippine National Police Human Rights Affairs Office kaugnay ng tamang pagsasagawa ng checkpoint, lalo na ngayong election period. Ayon sa PNP Human Rights Affairs Office, layo nitong maiwasan ang paglabag ng mga pulis sa karapatang pantao ng mga motorista. Narito ang report ni Leia Ilagan.
Pinaigting ng Philippine National Police ang pagsasagawa ng checkpoint sa buong bansa dahil sa nalalapit na halalan. Nasa 26 na rin ang nahuhuli simula noong linggo, umpisa ng election period. Ayon kay PNP Human Rights Affairs Office spokesperson, Police Senior Superintendent Elde Brandi Usana, nagsasagawa sila ng refresher seminar sa mga pulis sa buong bansa sa kung paano isasagawa ang tamang checkpoint. Ito'y upang maiwasang lumabag sa karapatang pangtao ang mga pulis.
Kung titingnan nyo ang ating datos, less and less na yung number ng mga cases involving violations sa pagkakandak ng checkpoint committed by police officers. Ibig sabihin, nag-mature ang ating mga kapulisan along with the conduct of a series of training courses.
Aniya, ang tamang checkpoint ay nakalagay sa maliwanag na lugar. May maayos na signage at pinamumunuan ng opisyal ng PNP at may kasamang COMELEC representative. Naka-uniforme ang mga pulis at mayroong ID. Plain view lamang at bawal pabuksan ang pinto at trunk ng sasakyan. Malaking tulong naman ang seminar sa mga pulis upang malaman kung anong approach ang gagawin sa mga motorista, lalo na sa mga nakainom ng alak.
Itong seminar na ganito tungkol sa human rights, related dito sa checkpoint kasi may mga na-encounter din sa field na yung mga na-checkpoint na medyo hindi nila naintindihan, mga nakainom, mga so dapat alam din ng mga pulis yung ginagawa nila, yung karapatan ng mga tao na nasisita para maya-maya magkakakaso ang pulis pagka hindi niya alam ang ginagawa niya.
Usually ang ginagawa namin pag may mga tumakbo, kasi syempre may ano tayo dyan kung bakit siya tumakbo, ibig sabihin may reason, di ba? Ang usually ginagawa namin yan, hinahabol po namin, meron po kaming tapos pinapara namin na sinasabihan na tinatanong namin bakit sila tumakbo. Yun pala, usually pag mga motor, ang naging problem nila is hindi nila dala yung license nila.
Kaya payo ng mga ito sa mga motorista, huminto sa checkpoint ng pulis, patayin ang headlight, buksan ang ilaw sa loob ng sasakyan at ibaba ang bintana. Kung nais namang malaman ang kanilang karapatan sa checkpoint, maaari nilang i-download ang PNP HRAW Know Your Rights sa kanilang mga cellular phone. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Campo Crame.
Nanindigan ang National Capital Region Police Office o NCRPO na wala silang namomonitor na election hotspot sa buong Metro Manila ngayong papalapit na ang 2019 midterm elections. Mula sa Quezon City, nasa linya ng ating telepono si Benedict Samson para sa detalye ng balita. Magandang tanghali sa iyo, Benedict.
Yes, Ella, magandang tanghali. 4 na buwan bago ang darating na 2019 midterm election, wala umanong namomonitor na election hotspot ang National Capital Region Police Office o NCRPO. Iyan ang nasabi ni NCRPO Chief Police Director Guillermo Eliazar sa isinagawang Joint COMELEC NCRPO at and Joint Task Force NCR Security Preparation kanina umaga sa Quezon City Sports Club. Bagamat wala aniya silang namomonitor na election hotspot, ay hindi pa rin sila dapat maging kampante. Nasabi din ni Director Eliazar na mula nang pasimula ng COMELEC ang checkpoint noong January 13 ay umabot na sa 12 naaresto at 2 napatay ng pulisya matapos lumabag ang mga ito. Matapos naman ng isinagawang press con, ay nagkaroon ng closed-door meeting ang COMELEC kasama mga hepe ng pulis sa buong Metro Manila upang pag-usapan ng kanilang gagawing mga plano upang matiyak ang ligtas na halalan sa Mayo. Samantala naman inikayat ni Eliazar na ang mga may-ari ng expired na baril na isurrender muna ang mga ito sa PNP upang hindi magamit sa anumang krimen. Mula dito sa Quezon City, balik sa inyo dyan, Ella.
Maraming salamat, Benedict Samson live na nagulat mula sa Quezon City.
Tulog muna! Bago! Balita!
Tinulungan ng UNTV News and Rescue Team ang isang lalaking na aksidente sa motorsiklo sa Balagtas, Bulacan. Narito ang report ni Nestor Torres.
Hindi umano napansin ng 35 anyos na si Dennis Toledo ang butas sa ginagawang kalsada sa Barangay World First, Balagtas, pasado 1:00 kaninang madaling araw. Kaya sumemplang ang minamaneho niyang motorsiklo. Dahil dito, nagtamo ng hiwa sa kanang kilay, bukol at gasgas sa kaliwang noo si Toledo. Agad namang nilapatan ng pangunang lunas ng UNTV News and Rescue Team si Toledo. Tumanggi na itong magpadala sa ospital at nagpa siya na lamang umuwi ng bahay sakay ng kanyang motorsiklo. Nestor Torres, UNTV News and Rescue, Bulacan.
Humantong sa engkwentro ang operasyon ng mga pulis laban sa 2 carnapping suspect sa Quezon City kagabi. Napatay ang mga suspect at na-recover sa mga ito ang 3 nakaw na mga motorsiklo. Naritong report ni Bernard Dadies.
Letter to spot ang 2 lalaking hinihinalang karnapper matapos manlaban sa mga tauhan ng Quezon City Police District sa Barangay Basra, Quezon City, bandang 7:30 kagabi. Kinilalang mga suspect sa pangalang Ian Diaz at isang alias Jesse. Ayon kay Police Senior Superintendent Enrico Vargas, napagalaman ng mga otoridad mula sa isang informant ang mga iligal na aktibidad at kinaroroonan ng mga suspect. Agad na nagsagawa ng bypass operation ng QCPD Anti-Carnapping Section at Special Operations Unit. Ngunit nakatunog ang mga suspect na pulis ang katransaksyon kaya't nauwi ito sa engkwentro.
Nagkaroon tayo ng magandang information na nagtuturo na nandito nakatira at dito nila dinadala yung mga kinakarnap nilang mga motor. So nagkaroon ng transaction kanina. Then nung medyo naramdaman nila na police ang kanilang transaction, bumunot at inunahan yung police natin. So nagkaroon ng encounter.
Positibo namang itinuro ng isa sa mga biktima ang kanyang motorsiklo. Ayon sa biktima, tinangay ng mga suspect ang kanyang motor habang binabaybay ang Broadway Avenue sa Quezon City noong Martes ng gabi. Anya, natakot siya para sa kanyang buhay nang tutukan siya ng baril ng mga suspect habang sakay ng isang kotse.
Ang ginitgit lang po nila ako akala ko po kasi noong una, overtake lang sila sa akin. Nag-blink sila sa akin 2 beses, kaya pinauna ko po sila. Nung tumapat na sila sa gilid ko, tsaka nila ako ginitgit. Tapos yun nga po, bumaba sila, kinuha na nila yung motor ko. Meron ba silang armas, sir? Meron sila, sir, baril, nakatutok sa akin.
Na-recover sa mga suspect ang isang kalibre 45 at kalibre 357 revolver, 2 Mio motorcycle at isang Honda Beat motorcycle. Inalam pa ng mga otoridad ang pagkakakilanlan ng mga suspect at kung may kinalaman ng mga ito sa iba pang carnapping incidents sa Quezon City. Bernard Dadies, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
And for the news abroad, federal and state authorities should take urgent measures to curb police killings in Rio de Janeiro, which have reached a record high. Stephanie C. has this story.
New York-based NGO Human Rights Watch issued its report on Brazil on Wednesday, warning of an increase in homicides, police killings, and widespread immunity in Latin America's largest economy. According to HRW, from January to November 2018, more than 5,100 people were killed by police in Brazil. While some of the killings were linked to security operations, the rights body warned that some were linked to extrajudicial executions. According to reports, the country also suffered a record of 64,000 murders in 2017, the most in the world. Nearly 45,000 of those homicides involved firearms. Amidst the crime wave, there was also an uptick in the country's prison population. According to Brazil's Ministry of Justice, over 726,000 adults were imprisoned in facilities with a capacity to hold about half this number. The Human Rights Watch report comes as Brazil's new president Jair Bolsonaro talks tough on security. Earlier this week, Bolsonaro signed a temporary decree making it easier for Brazilians to buy guns, arguing it would allow citizens to better defend themselves. Stephanie C., UNTV News and Rescue.
A car bomb explosion has killed at least 10 people and injured 54 others in the Colombian capital, Bogota. Kat Dumaraos reports.
A car bomb exploded at a police academy in Colombia's capital, Bogota, on Thursday, killing at least 9 people and wounding over 50 in an attack that prompted fears of a return to the country's violent past. According to authorities, the car, a gray Nissan Patrol, broke through checkpoints at 9:30 a.m. into the grounds of the General Santander School in the south of the capital before it exploded, shattering windows of apartments in the vicinity. President Ivan Duque called the bomb a crazy terrorist act against unarmed cadets and said he had ordered police and the military to find the perpetrators and bring them to justice. Investigators had identified the car's driver as Jose Aldemar Rojas Rodriguez, who was among the dead, said Colombia Attorney General Nestor Humberto Martinez. He said that the car was carrying 80 kilograms of the high explosive pentolite, which has been used in the past by Colombia's rebel guerrilla groups. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the attack, and Humberto Martinez said investigators were searching for its intellectual authors. The Defense Ministry said in a statement that 9 people were killed and 24 wounded. 8 of the deceased were cadets at the academy, police said. A police helicopter hovered over the area and family members gathered, many crying as they sought information. Emergency responders were at the scene. Car bombs were frequent in Colombia during decades of civil war between the state and various leftist rebel groups, as well as in violence involving the meddling drug cartel led by dead drug lord Pablo Escobar. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
Britain's Prince Philip, husband of Queen Elizabeth II, was involved in a traffic accident Thursday, but he was not injured, according to the Buckingham Palace. Jovic Bermas reports.
Cars were directed around a Land Rover on its side and a car in the hedge, as well as debris on the road following a car crash on Thursday involving Queen Elizabeth's 97-year-old husband Prince Philip, according to an eyewitness. Nick Cobbs told the BBC that he passed the car on its side but could not see whether Prince Philip was still inside at the time.
I was bringing my daughter back from taking pictures. She's on a photography course. A couple of cars coming towards us flashed the headlights, and then the first vehicle we saw was a Sandringham Estate Discovery police car, which is a plain car but blue flashing lights. There's quite a bit of debris on the road. We all had to move into the centre of the road and go past slowly. Saw a Range Rover on its side and a car in the hedge. 6 or 8 ordinary cars all parked around with people helping, and just beyond that a normal police car with the lights going, sort of directing traffic.
Did you see anybody coming out of the vehicles?
No, there were people milling all around. I couldn't tell you whether they were actually around that vehicle, whether he was in or out of the vehicle at that point.
Prince Philip escaped uninjured from the crash. Police said 2 people in a car that collided with that of the Prince, also known as the Duke of Edinburgh, were both taken to hospital for minor injuries but later discharged.
Yeah, the Range Rover was on its side, on the driver's side actually, so he would have been his side to the pavement, as it were. There was quite a bit of broken glass and a bit of broken plastic in the road, which is why we had to drive down the centre of the road.
Pictures from the scene showed a Land Rover overturned on the side of the road. The accident occurred when Philip was pulling out of a driveway onto a main road, the BBC reported, quoting a witness saying he was very shaken. Buckingham Palace confirmed Thursday's accident. The Duke was not injured, it added in a statement. Jovic Bermas, UNTV News and Rescue, United Kingdom.